Great question. Met a girl at a nightclub. I was dancing to the Eagle Rock, so I had my pants down. She liked what she saw. She lived at Uni Central. She introduced me to her degenerate mates, and 30 years later, I'm sitting in a room talking about it. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. Like it was. We used to rock up somewhere Friday night, still playing in the old cotton jerseys. We had a good bunch of guys, Matt Bradley, Adam Ridgewell, those sort of guys, and then mixed with younger, sort of inexperienced guys, but we were able to sharpen our teeth and sort of get used to playing rugby because a lot of us didn't have any rugby experience at the time. And then when our depth got tested, we were able to be semi-useful members of society.
So England, that was just I would call it a pub comp. There was no training,
for sure.
There was no structure to it. It was just turn up and play.
Yeah. I mean, the core of the team were on the fringe of reserve grade anyway, so we were training Tuesdays and Thursday nights with the reserve grade squad. But it was most definitely more social than serious. The fur and the axe.
Tell us about what we did with Argyle.
Well, I kind of got roped in because you were on the committee. I don't know whether you were vice president. Yeah, but on the committee. And you had a lot of spare time. And that sort of roped me into doing all the dumb things that you were doing at the time. And sometimes that involved dressing as a Viking and doing silly things, which I thoroughly enjoy. Pop up on the hill and then just go, why is there a Viking now setting on? And then you just disappear. Yeah, that was Mick Weir who told me to do that.
Yes.
Shout out to Mike Weir. It was one of those things where traditionally uni would dress up to go to the grand final, usually to watch other clubs, and there was a theme to it. And then it was decided that when uni's in the grand final, we dress as Barbarians. And so that's where that 06 grand final in Kawana, it looks like they've gathered all the extras out of Braveheart, painted them green instead of blue, and that whole side of the field. And you see moments like Gavin Ham running across the field at halftime with an inflatable dolphin to the Noosa crowd, only to basically pull just short of a 5,000 aside strong all-in brawl, only to be stopped by the players going, "Stay there." But like we live by the principle: you take one of us on, you take all of us on, and that includes everyone that's sitting there watching. So that's just the way it is.
Yeah, it was exciting violence that day.
You say that, I say he was just showing his true passion. And I will fuck fuck the Dolphins. Sometimes those smug bastards need to be fucked.
All right, let's get back into the playing side of things. So you started playing Regis after that third grade season.
Yep.
You got the tags for it, and it was all.
Yep.
Took us through your first dabble in 2006, and then on to those.
Yeah, so I was still living in Brisbane. At the start of that year, so it was, I was catching a lift to and from training Tuesday night, living in Brisbane, then come back on the weekend, play up, and then head home, and then subsequently ended up like moving to the coast just to be closer. So some people choose a town to live in, and then they choose a town to live in first, and then pick a club to support after that. I just chose the other way around.
Yeah, you didn't come from the beach, clearly.
No, I don't look real great in the speedo, so I just kept it in footy shorts.
What was it like playing in the club at that time? What was the feel around and the mood and the culture like? Did you feel welcome?
Oh, 100%. We were all misfits and weirdos, but we're all our own misfits and weirdos. But we all just sort of it just worked. Like you could carry on, with this person this week, and then the next person. Like it just worked. We all just got along, and it was the start. I got to witness the start of the club. The club sort of developing from a social club to a serious club, but we still had a very heavy, and still do a very heavy sort of social side. It's just like we were all in together. You'd finish the game and shower, head straight to the pub and little bar, and everybody would be there. And we would just, you'd head to the sponsors pub, and that's where we'd be. Like Saturday night, everybody was there. No excuses, no exceptions. You just did, that was good times.
So on the field, it was playing hard. Off the field, it was playing harder.
Yeah. On the field, you play hard. Off the field, you play up. So,
would you say that it was a community where there wasn't any cliques? It was, you could be best friends with the A-grade captain and the cult that just came out of violent practice.
Yeah, exactly. Like we all had different brands of, or different strains of nerd outside of rugby, but we all sort of, it didn't matter. The club was strong. If you were green, you were green, and that was it.
So fast forward a little bit, and from a guy that hadn't played before, you got elected club captain.
I like to talk a lot, and
I
do. No, I just had a few ideas, and we just used to do a couple of silly things that everyone sort of got around. We used to do you do things like someone's birthday, so you do the shrapnel. You just get everyone to chuck all their shrapnel in a jar, and turned out when you do that, you ended up with $50 or $60, and then that person got absolutely, like, you just aimed that at someone. So I do a couple of things like that, and then all of a sudden, hey, that was fun. Organise something else. Yeah.
So, as club captain, you're kind of responsible for all of the. Well, you're the voice of the players to the committee, but you're also the guy that gets the stuff done.
Yeah, I sort of consider the club captain role as you're the custodian of the good times. Like you have to. You're almost the reward for effort. If you do your job well as club captain, the club is thriving because they're all enjoying themselves, and they're enjoying themselves on and off the field. And when that happens, the club's unbeatable. Like, so you just, but there's a lot of things to do in that role. There's a lot of, you got to make sure the field's set up, the field's cleaned up. Everyone, like, we didn't have a junior club connected directly. So a lot of that sort of stuff fell on the players to do, and it fell on the same sort of 2 or 3 guys that were doing it week in and week out. And so we had to find a better way.
Which led to Clan Wars.
Which was Clan Wars. You take all the bells and whistles off it. It was just It was just a way to break into 4 self-managed teams. So we had 4 clans, 4 captains. I could communicate to those guys, get them in board. Automatically, I went from having the same 3 guys to do it, to do anything, to I had 4 very influential players at the club in charge of these 4 clans who instantly got 3 or 4 themselves to buy in, and then it just snowballed from there. And 20 years later, they're still rolling it out now with all the juniors getting involved, and they have a draft day, which I think was hilarious. That was fantastic. They were drafting players into clans, and it's great to see anything that you do last 20 plus years. But I'm pretty proud of that one.
Let's dig into it a bit more, because it wasn't just about getting the job done, because it was about camaraderie too, breaking down barriers.
Breaking down, like, so we wanted to make it supportive for the women's players, the Colts players, the reserve grade players, to be able to join together with A grade and stand up as one and go, doesn't matter where I'm playing, I'm a barbarian, and that's who I am, that's who we are. So we broke the barriers down by breaking them into smaller chunks, mixing up people that would not normally hang out together, and making them a smaller team. And then they work together, and they're all right. This bloke's not that bad. And then all of a sudden, you know, go Celts, go Gauls, Huns. You throw a few drunken sports carnivals in there, and everyone's on board.
Well, that's a good point too, because it wasn't just about the jobs. You packaged it up as this whole big year-long competition where you had fun and work combined. Talk to that.
Okay, so we had lots of jobs that we had to get done. We had to set up the field. We had to pack up the field. We had to do raffles on Friday night with the sponsor, with Pub Malula. And then I was like, well, we want a break. So that's why there's 4 clans, because we had 4 we had 3 jobs and a break. And the whole purpose was, if we do those jobs, why are we working for those jobs? You do work for reward. That's why anyone does work. Normally it's money. We're not going to do that. So what reward can I give, 20-year-olds? It's usually alcohol. So we made it that the winning clan for the year. So as you sent clan members to do those jobs, they got points. They earned points. The more points you had at the end of the year, the winner got. I believe it started as a keg of beer. It ended up as a couple of cartons, but the result was the same. It usually ended up with the clan winning the cartons then arriving on Mad Monday and everybody drinking cartons. But that was the reward. All work and no fun makes people pretty boring. So we threw a couple of events in there where you could also earn points for clans. Things like, wig night, that, you earn points for your clan by turning up in a wig. So we used it to get, culture buy-in. We used it to get people motivated to go a little bit extra. And then when you see, rugby people are wired a little bit different. When someone goes extra once, then the next time someone tries to one up that person, and then before you know it, you've got 2 teams on a bus to Harvey Bay dressed as superheroes strolling down Harvey Bay Esplanade. Batman, Superman, Captain Plasma. Like, it was slightly slower than normal man. It was insane.
And it is special that while it's evolved over time, and probably lost its original lackluster, it's still a great tool that they've got.
It still holds up. The fact that it's still there after 20 years is pretty. It makes me proud. Like,
You should be proud. All right. So playing days.
I couldn't win a grand final, but I can do that.
So playing days. You've got your 10 minutes back, right?
I did. That was a bet that I had with Princess. That if I could play, I forget the exact. I think it was maybe 30 minutes or a half of football in A grade in one. And I think it was the 06 year. Or it might have been the 07 year, 06. And so me being me, I went straight to the A grade coach and brought him in on it. And the very next game, next minute, we're in Gympie in the. Before you know it, I've been named in the named on the bench for reserve grade, much to Princess's absolute disgust. And then before you know it, I was in the A grade for a minute. Again, I think it was the 06, 07. I ended up in an elimination semi A grade, and with Della and Stocker yelling at me every like, don't you stop running. I'm like, I won't, I'm too scared. But yeah. Just short bursts, but
Didn't quite get the numbers.
Didn't quite get the racked up, but you know what they say, those who can do, those who can't coach. So I think I'm better at that than I have ever was at a player. But I might not have got a grand final, but I guarantee you, I might not have got a grand final victory in the teams that I played in grand finals with for Barbarians, but someday very soon, one kid that I coach will. So that makes me happy.
Well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about what it's like to be a dad of a player and also a coach at the same time.
Well, one is a direct result of the other. I possibly would never have thought to coach. Obviously, I was never really that good a player. So I didn't have the confidence to impart knowledge that I didn't feel like I had. It turns out to be a good coach, you don't actually have to be better at the stuff than the athletes. You just have to connect some dots and make the athletes realize what you're trying to get to. And hopefully, yeah, being a parent of a Barbarian is insane, and I get to watch my daughter do things I couldn't dream of doing, and I think it's almost more nerve-wracking being a coach. It's almost more emotional to be a coach and get a win than it is, that hard fought. You're probably not supposed to win that one. You get up on that one, and it's almost more exciting and more emotional as a coach when you're one spot removed from the on field. But to watch my daughter have those moments is pretty special as well.
That is special. Tell us how did it start? Like, most people don't.
Yeah. So I was a netball dad. I was prepared to be a netball dad. She was signed up. Renee had my daughter Madison signed up to play netball. And then I found out one of my former third grade teammates was the coach because his son was in the under sixes. And Reggie said, bring Maddie down to have a look at training. And I'm like, yeah, why not? What harm's that going to do? And the second she laced up the boots and hit the field, something clicked in her brain, and she said, "I love this. I want to do this. I don't want to play netball. I want to play football." And that's how you end up with a 13-year-old girl who has 9 years of service to the club, and she's dispensated to be allowed to play mixed. She's captain of the one of the multiple under 14 girls sides in sevens that we have. She's just a monster, and she loves it.
That's beautiful. This also brought your wife into rugby.
Yep. Renee, I guess she got sick of watching, and she got sick of trying to round me up at the pub after the games and things like that. So she decided to join in. So she, because most people decide when they're sort of near 40 to start playing rugby, but she did. She was a monster too. So, and now to see her go on her journey with the women, and to see her take a rather large part in reinvigorating and bringing that back to the club, which I think is a fantastic move. And to watch her go through that is pretty special too.
That's good. That sounds very weird.
Yeah. Oh, yes, pretty good. That's
pretty good.
that's pretty good stuff.
So if I wonder, you've been at the club on and off for 20 years. In that time, it's evolved a hell of a lot.
Yep.
Talk me through your take on that. You know, what was it like 20 years ago? What's it like today? What's similar and what's different?
Look, everything's changed, but everything is still the same. The DNA across the 20 years is still the same. There's still what made us successful then makes us successful now. But look, even the jerseys are different. The color schemes are different. The green has changed over the years. The blue was added somewhere along the line. Then yellow. They're like the colors have changed, but the club remains. The DNA is still there. You can still trace the lineage back. You can still see subtle changes. Things like I got to watch Hap end his playing career. I was still fortunate enough to play a few games with Hap, and now to the kids that are coming through now. He's the old guy that cooks the barbecue at the clubhouse. Like, he's still there. The club is still there. The club is still the same. Now I'm the cranky old guy that's yelling at everyone and all the front rowers and stuff like that, where that used to be Hap. So there's differences, yet similarity. The club is we not only want to win, we hate to lose, and that remains constant. We've had in this modern era grand final wins at home, and the fossils get dragged into the sheds the same way we did 20 years ago. And when it was our turn to Yahoo and carry on in the sheds and things like that, we didn't have that second generation and third, like, we didn't have the preceding guys there, which we have now, and we're starting to evolve. And it's not too far. You look at the Holsels, for example. Again, they're into the third generation of Holsel playing. Madison is a second generation, my daughter. So, like, we're starting to now see second, third generation of players, and that's kind of exciting to see how far that's going to go. Will we get a fourth generation, fifth generation. You know, it's just let's see. Like let's see if they're showing snippets of these videos in at the 50-year dinner, and my daughter's kids are playing and have played, and now their kids are playing, and that's what we want to see.
We are barbarians. We don't